Buenas tardes. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about your first test. So let's take a look. So I'm logged into Apex. I'm going to go to my class on Apex. And unfortunately, I have every single class that we offer. So I'm going to now go North Cedar Spanish 2 Semester 1 and dig in a little bit deeper. So hopefully you can see this okay. And all of you are at the point where you have done 1.1, 1.2, you're well into 1.3. After you do 1.4, you're going to come up to this 1.5, which is your wrap-up section. And there's also a diagnostic test here. So the diagnostic test kind of tells you like what you might need to go back and study. So let's take a look at that. So 1.6, click on that. It's just going to give you an overview. You have to actually click on 1.6.1 to get to the diagnostic. So here we go. And don't forget to go to the second page. And I've already taken it. And you can tell, you know, I don't use this every day. So I have a study plan, just like some of you might. And we're going to look at my answers. So, hoy en el mundo, el asunto de los humanos es muy importante. En boletos, derechos, asuntos, gobiernos. Okay, so even if I don't know every single word in the sentence, I know that hoy is today. I know mundo is world. Asunto. I may not know exactly what that word means, but I know that humanos, if I look at that, I can see the word human in it. Oh, that's human. I know that's human because it's a cognate. And then I look at importante, also another cognate. So I can tell you that in English, something human important. Okay, so let me look at my choices. Boletos, derechos, asuntos, gobiernos. Well, didn't we have something earlier in this unit about derechos, humanos derechos? Yes, we did, because it was on our written assignment. So my first choice for this is going to be derechos, and that was the correct choice. If we move on to question dos, la película nueva, espacio, el viernes pasado. Now, here I'm looking for a word that would describe a movie. So, estreno, actuó, escribió, jugó. Well, estrenar is to show, right? Or to premiere. So I'm going to go with that word. Now, we notice that every single one of these are in the preterite tense. That means it's in the past tense. It happened one time. And they all are in the right form. So that's not something that we can choose from. So we have to know what the underlying words mean. And estreno was the right word. Now, if you didn't get that right, what could you do? Well, there is this nice little over here. It's Unit 1.7. And it gives you pages and pages and pages of vocabulary. So when you first started, I told you that maybe one of the things you would want to do was go to Quizlet and make yourself an account and practice these words because it will help you with your pronunciation. So I don't know if any of you did that, but let's take a look at what we could do if we went to Quizlet. So I'm going to go to Quizlet.com. And here, look, I can create things. So I can create a new study set. I even can sign up with Google or Facebook or my own email. I'm just going to sign in with Facebook. Now, I wouldn't say that you would need to use the $20 a year. So just continue to the free Quizlet. So I'm going to say this is what it was the unit called in Apex. Media and entertainment. So let's go here. Let's call it media and entertainment. Okay, and you can change whether it's visible by you. So we're going to do English, and we want our definitions to come up in Spanish. Or we can switch it around. It's up to you. So let's do, oops, keep clicking on the wrong one. El actor and el asunto. Just two things. El actor. And this is author in English. And you can even add an image. So this is a great image for that. And that's good because you can connect your brain with the image a little bit better. And I said el asunto, and that is issue. So, what kind of image would we use for that? Looks like, these are some pretty big issues, especially with the presidential election right now. So I'm going to create it. Now you can share it with others, you can add to a class, whatever you want to do. And here's my flashcards. Now see, I can hear it. El actor. I can repeat it back. So, and el asunto. So practice those words. So anyway, Quizlet is an option. So we're going to go back to Apex now. And I'm going to show you about the wrap-up section. So remember, you probably only see 1.3, maybe 1.4 if you're that far ahead. But 1.5, we're going to open up. Now, you're going to see 1.5.1 and you're going to see 1.5.2. 1.5.3 is going to come up that it's locked. And you're going to need to contact your professor or your teacher or whatever word it says. That'll be a paper pencil test that you'll take with Miss Kramer. And then you can, but hopefully you kind of prepare for it ahead of time. So 1.5.1, that's where you're going to review. So we're going to open that up. Now, here's the step-by-step instructions right here. This review is a chance to revisit what you've learned. Here are the steps you should take. Review any notes you may have taken as you worked on the study activity. So those study sheets that you worked on might help you with some notes. Then it also says if you completed the study sheets, go back and review the questions and answers for each study sheet in the unit. Review your written and spoken assignments and any feedback you received on your work. Study and complete the review on this page. Okay, so over here, this little booklet, that's going to give you this nice long review. And your review is going to tell you all the information summed up into 2 or 3 pages that you have from the whole unit. Now remember, we've been working on this unit for about a month. So there's probably some stuff that you've forgotten by now, some stuff you've built on. let's take a look at the regular preterite AR forms. Now remember, preterite is something that happened one time in the past. And the AR verbs, you're going to take off the AR ending, add E con accento, hace, O con accento, amos, hacéis, harán. And then look at the following examples. Ayer mi padre trabajó todo el día. Now, this is important to remember. As you move forward in Spanish, there's some words that are kind of going to trigger that you're going to use the preterite tense. And ayer would be one of them. Anoche, Roberto y yo estudiamos por 3 horas. Now, I kind of like the nosotros form because you don't have to remember whether it was today or yesterday, since it conjugates the same way. Yo compré un vestido nuevo el sábado pasado. Ustedes caminaron por el parque ayer. Again, there's that time reference, ayer. Mis abuelos visitaron el museo ayer. Ayer, again, time reference. Miraste la televisión anoche? See, and there's that to form. It's asking you a question. Anoche, again, a time reference. Now, there's some AR verbs, and this is, we're changing from the preterite tense now, and we're going back into the present tense, sometimes also called the indicative. You're going to read through this. You're going to know what these things do in the preterite form as well. And then there's some preterite ER and IR verbs. And they're really similar, which is why they kind of group them together. And then there are some ER and IR with stem changes. And then there's a few irregular verbs in the preterite. So I want you to go back and I want you to read these. I want you to know what they're saying. If you don't understand, please send me an email, ask me a question about it so I can kind of give you more of an overview of it. And then also know what the preterite stems are, because that might come up on the test. And then we get into these verbs like gustar. And verbs like gustar are a little bit trickier because it's your subject is actually what you're talking about. Like, me gustan los verbos. The literal translation is verbs are pleasing to me. And the natural English translation is I like verbs. So you have to kind of think a little bit backwards here. Me gustan los gatos. A mi padre le gusta el béisbol. Les gusta el arroz. Now notice that it's kind of two different verbs, forms. You can either have gusta or gustan, because your subjects are either going to be plural or singular. Los gatos is plural, so you're going to use gustan. El béisbol is singular, so you're going to use gusta. And other verbs that are similar are faltar, doler, quedar, encantar, tocar, molestar, and parecer. So make sure that you know this. Another tricky word in Spanish is por, because there's two different words in Spanish that mean for. Por is one, para is the other. And you're going to just need to kind of memorize when to use which ones. There's no great trick for it. You can look at all of these things, but definitely spend some time figuring out what you think, when you think you should use por. And then finally, make sure that you know some of the idiomatic phrases, and then also the negative words. Now, what I really want to show you is clear down at the bottom. So remember, this is a lot of words, a lot of information here that they've kind of condensed the whole unit into one condensed lesson. So here we go, multiple choice. Ayer mis padres, blank, el periódico. Well, okay, so mis padres, it's a plural subject. So if you remember your verb charts and you have your yo, el, ello, usted, and tú on the left-hand side, and you have your nosotros, vosotros, and ellos, ellas, ustedes on the right-hand side, you're going to make sure that the verb comes off of the right-hand side, plural, and it's third person singular. Or, sorry, it's third person plural. So since we know that it's third person plural, we want to use leyeron. So that's your answer for number 1 is leyeron. Número 2. Juanita tiene 16 años. Lupita tiene 16 años. 17 años. Lupita es blank que Juanita. So here you're going to choose whichever adjective is best. So A, menor, B, mejor, C, mayor. 16 is 16. 17 is 17. So Lupita is older than Juanita. So we're going to choose, again, letter C, mayor. Let's do number 3 again, and then you can do the rest on your own. Quiero ir al teatro esta noche, pero no puedo porque solo me blank $3. Okay, so this is in the present tense, so you're going to need to pay attention to what your verbs say. Quiero ir means I want to go tonight, but I can't because I only have how many dollars? 3. So may, and take a minute, but I think you're going to probably choose queda. Oh, I'm sorry. You're probably not going to choose queda because it's $3. So you're going to use quedan, and let's check that. So I'm going to show answers, which is this fancy trick that we can do when we're teachers. And it didn't work. Oh no. So let me get back to you on that one because I think it should be quedan. Yeah, quedan. Because $, is plural. So you have the ability to check your answers as well. Do your review first, then go down here and check your answers. And hasta viernes.